Hello, this is Rachel Heath. I'm the MCA at KW Utah Realtors in Midvale, Utah, and this video will show you how to set up Dotloop to do your new agent onboarding, to have the new agents sign all of the documents that are required when they first join your brokerage. So the first step that we did was to set up a new agent onboarding template. That way we only had to do it once, and then you can just use the template to create a new loop for each new agent that you bring on, rather than creating a loop from scratch each time. So go to your templates. And as you see, we already have a new agent onboarding template here, but I'm going to show you how to set it up from scratch. So go to Add New Loop Template. You can name the loop whatever you'd like. We'll name it New Agent Onboarding. And what type of transaction is this? Just list it as other for now, and then create template. So it's not, there's nothing really in this. You have to create this whole template from scratch. The only role that's currently in there is the admin, which is available to anybody who has admin rights in your Dotloop account. And we recommend adding several people. So I'm going to show you in our onboarding loop who we have already added. So we've got our ASC already added, myself as the MCA, our team leader, and our principal broker added as people. And this is in the templates, so they will automatically be added to every new loop you create with this template. The other thing to do, go back up and show you this new loop, is that you have to add the roles you need in this template. So you can add any name, you can name the roles anything you want, whatever makes sense for you. Again, I'll show you in our actual loop that we have. Oops, discard that. Our loop, we have added the following roles: the director of first impressions, the assistant team, we don't have an assistant team leader right now, or an assistant MCA, but those are in there from before. The new agent beneficiary, the new agent, team leader, principal broker, MCA, and ASC. Now each of these, if you click on the roles, there are only a couple of fields that are already automatically in there for each role, but you can add fields. So I'm going to show you particularly the new agent. So what we have done with this is we've added fields that reflect all of the different fields that are required on the paper forms that the agents have to sign. So the personal information form, the independent contractor agreement, we have a sexual harassment policy form, and we actually also have them autofill their MLS and board change forms. So anything we could possibly need on any of the forms that get signed, we added a field for. And some of the fields are full address, and some of the fields are street address, street name, and then city, state, and zip. So that's why you see state on here, and then city, state, and zip, and city, state, and zip. So there are different fields on the forms that require them all grouped together, and some that require them to be separate. That's why we have them all broken out like this. So these are all of the fields that we found we needed to fill the forms completely. So you want to, and you can add a new field by just hitting add field. Name the field, and then tell if it's a date, a drop down, or a text field. So we have set up all of the roles all of the fields for the new agent role that we need. So now that you've got the role in here, you can go in and set up the documents. So we already have documents in here, as you see, but you can't add the document to the loop and then set it up. You have to set up the document in the document folder. So we're going to go into our document folder, and we have all of the new agent forms in a subfolder here. And here is where you will go to set up the individual documents. So let's start with the personal information form. Open this up, and you can have Dotloop set these documents up for you. I'll show you that in a little bit, how you send documents to Dotloop. They'll set them up for free. The important thing is, if you do have Dotloop set them up, you'll need to come back into the document and make sure that all the fields are assigned correctly. So click on the field, and it's transferred from, and we've got it assigned as previous brokerage. So that's one of the fields that we added to the new agent role. So it's available in this list, the previous brokerage for new agent. Today's date is just, you can add it as today's date from the new agent role. Legal name. So if you needed to search, if that wasn't already filled out, you would come here, you'd search for the role you're wanting to assign that field to, and then all of the fields we added to the new agent are on here. So their legal name, and then you select which person, new, and there's only one new agent, so new agent one, and apply. So now that field, when you autofill, will automatically pull in that new agent's name from the roles, the information that you filled in with from their role. Once you've got the document completely set up, well, all of the documents actually, then you're ready to add the documents to the Loop template. So come back to your new agent onboarding, and this is where you would add a folder. So in our new agent onboarding, we've got one folder, and then we've added all of these documents. So you may not have all of the same documents that we have, but it's still the same basic principle. So once your new template is completely set up and created, you are ready to create a loop with that template and onboard a person. So that's what I'm going to show you next. Before we leave the templates though, I am going to show you how to send documents to Dotloop to get them set up for free. It's in your documents section, and there's a folder called DocSpot. You add documents to this folder, and then you come over here to these ones here and request documents to be set up. That sends them to Dotloop, and they just will automatically set them up for you. I don't remember exactly what the turnaround time was. It's pretty quick from my recollection, but I don't know if they told me a specific time. It's been a while since we've done this, but it does save so much time rather than setting them up by hand yourself. So that's how to send them to Dotloop. All right, let's go into our loops here. So we've set up the new agent role, and we've set up the documents and created a template. So now we're ready to create a loop. So I'm sure you all know how to do this, but create a loop, and then because we've added the template, it's available for me to use here, new agent onboarding. I have already created this onboarding template, and I'm going to share it with you all by email, but we have several. Here's the new agent onboarding template. So I created this loop a couple of days ago, and I'm going to share it with all of you. But because we use the template, all of the required forms are already in here. The next step is to add the person to the loop that you are onboarding. So you'll come to add person, and make sure that you use, if they already have a Dotloop account with another brokerage, or they've been with KW before, make sure that you're using the same email address. And then you can, when you're doing their onboarding on the back end, your setup aspect of it, you can link their Dotloop accounts so that they don't have multiple Dotloop sign-ins. They just will have different profiles under the same Dotloop account. So name and email address, and assign the role, new agent, and then add the person. Once you've done that, you are ready to actually onboard the person. Now we do this in 2 stages. The first stage is this agent intake questionnaire, which we created. Now we created this. I'm going to open this up so you can see it. And this one does not autofill because none of these fields are assigned. We send this to the agent first. In fact, we will email it to them if we possibly can before their onboarding appointment, and ask them to fill it out as completely as possible. Because then if they've filled this out, it is all of the information that needs to go in the role details section that will then let you autofill all the documents. So we have some people that stop by and decide to join us right then and there on the spot, so we don't have the opportunity to get them to fill this out ahead of time. But if at all possible, send this first. and ask them to fill it out and then send it back to you. That way you can set up the role and have all the documents auto-filled before they even step foot in your office or before you send them all of the documents. So that's what we're going to do. So once you've had them fill out this agent intake questionnaire, you'll open that up, and I open it in a different screen. So I download it, open it, and then I use those fields to come down here to my we don't have anybody as, oh yes, here we go. Here's the new agent. So edit the new agent, all of those roles, all of those fields come up. So I would use, oh, you can see that there's the agent intake questionnaire. I put this on a separate screen so that I can see it easily. But then I use that form and I come through and fill in all of these fields before the agent even comes into the office, or again, before I've sent them all the documents to sign. So I can close that. Once you've filled in those fields, all of these other documents are ready to be signed electronically. There are two ways that we do that. If the person is in the office with us, we actually do an option called host in-person signing, which is a Dotloop feature. So I'll show you what that looks like. We'll open up all the other ones besides the agent intake questionnaire. When you open them for the first time, of course, they give you the option to autofill. So this is the second time I've opened them, but if you've opened them before and you don't get the autofill prompt, you can come up here to autofill, and that'll fill anything in that has been entered here. So if the person is there in front of you, we'll deal with in-person signing first. You've filled in all of this information. The only thing left is for the agents to come in here and sign the boxes and initial where required. There are a few pieces of information that don't get put on the new agent intake questionnaire, and that is particularly the sponsor. So that's something you'll want to follow up with the agent about. But if you come here to more and host in-person signing, if you do this, this asks you which person you want to sign, and then you continue. When you do that, you're going to hand over the controls of your computer and let Steve, or the new agent, do the signing. So what this does is this will take that person to their Dotloop account, or a Dotloop, just a generic Dotloop page, and allow them to come in here and sign. So make sure that you don't select that option unless the person is actually there and ready to sign in front of you. But you can have them sign it, they save it, and then they click they're done. So let's go back here. Oh, I think I got logged out. I'm going to have to log back in and go back into that loop. And of course, the other way to have people sign documents is then to send them to them. So you would select the documents you want to have them sign and then share them once they've all been filled out through the autofill option. So you can either do that through here, this button here, if you've already autofilled them. If you haven't autofilled them, you'll open them first. Autofill them, and then save and share. And I like to, when you share, it gives you the option to enter a custom message. I like to make sure that I send a quick little message to the person I'm sending this to, explaining to them that these are the documents they need to sign. And then we will call them ahead of time or email them. We're not going to ever send this document or these documents to somebody that we haven't communicated to ahead of time. So they should expect that this is coming and understand what the email is going to be about and asking them to do. So hit share, that sends it to the person. Make sure you select the right people that you need it to be sent to, and also their permissions. So if you want them to be able to fill in fields and sign, check, fill, and sign. If you need somebody to be able to edit things in private, that's very rare, unless it's somebody in your staff. But most of the time, it's going to be can sign or fill and sign only. That about covers it. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to help you out by phone or email. So hopefully this video was valuable for you, and hope you guys have a good experience with using Dotloop for onboarding. Thank you.